another Joe Bonamassa idea here. And I should say that in these two free videos here, I'm focusing on his faster sequences because, he's known to be a blues player who mixes the fast elements with the slower and the whole thing perfectly, at least for a lot of people. And I just wanted to focus on this part because that's where I have the most questions, right? People keep asking me, how is he doing that? How is he doing those pentatonic runs? And the answer is the most terrifying. He's just doing them. He's just doing two note per string pentatonic runs faster than most people out there. And it's like, the reason why, I'm sure, is because he didn't really see the limitation in that. He just kept playing them and got very good at them, which is the magical formula of building extraordinary skills, right? But so this little sequence here, when he's improvising, and he's improvising fast, he's using a couple of simple elements. And the last element, we talked about those 6-note patterns down the fretboard. We talked about those in the last video, and please go download that, watch that, download the tabs, and start practicing those. And today, we're going to look at another element he uses. And again, I didn't focus on playing it exactly like he does. We're just using the idea instead of, taking, okay, how does he combine that with that? And then we, learn the licks. We don't want to learn the licks in this, with this focus here. We want to learn the ideas. We want to extract the ideas and see how can we use those, right, in our own playing without necessarily sounding like him. So let's look into this idea here. That's also a sequence that you can use, chop up in your own playing. Very useful idea. And you should go download the video so you have it in high definition and can zoom in and see what I'm doing here. Of course, in the upcoming course, we're going to go close up on these things. And there's a lot more things than the fast ideas that you can extract from Joe's playing. An amazing blues player, and he has just the sweetest thing he does with the blues scale and the extra note he uses. So not just all about the fast stuff here, but that's what we're focusing on now. So let's look into the next little idea he uses. It's so simple, but I came up with a way of playing it, and I don't know if he's playing it in the same way. I actually think he's using alternate picking all the way. But, and you can do the same thing. You can just take the tabs and go download those. Click the link below the video if you're on YouTube here. You can just play the whole thing with alternate picking. But I find it much easier to play with a little bit of sweep picking string shifting. So let's look into it. We're in the key of E here. We have the E blues scale, or just the E minor pentatonic in the 12th fret, first position, 15th and 12th fret on the high E string, 15th and 12th fret on the B string, and then 14th, 12th on the G, the D, and the A string, and then 15 and 12 on the low E string again. All right, we're going to play the sequence in that shape, but you can play it in any shape. And the first exercise I'd like you to do is to play this. And I'm starting it off by picking the 15th fret, pulling off down to the 12th, and then you can either use the 4th or the 3rd finger for these notes up here in the 15th fret. Let's just use the 3rd. Pull off down to 12th, and then hit the 15th fret on the B string with an upstroke. All right, let me get some sound there. With an upstroke, 15th fret B string, and then downstroke by, barring with the 3rd finger over or rolling over. So you have, you put your 3rd finger, tip of the finger in the 15th fret B string, pick it with an upstroke, and then roll it over to the 15th fret E string. And as you do that, you actually leave the B string, and now the tip of the finger is just touching the string, muting it. Right, so you get, and you hit that 15th fret E string with a downstroke. So up, down, same fret, up, down, right? So from here, you play the 12th fret on the E string with an upstroke. And then you go back to the 15th fret. Please follow along. I hope you're holding your guitar and you have a pick in your hand. Upstroke, 12th fret E string. Then upstroke, 15th fret B string. So a little sweep there. Right? Then 15th fret, E string again. Downstroke. 12th fret, upstroke, E string. And then upstroke. Now we're just moving around in circles here. Upstroke, 15th fret, B string. Downstroke. Down, up, up. Down, up, right? Right, just three notes, right? And you can, of course, play those with alternate picking as well. Right? But, so that's the first exercise. You can do the same exercise with a couple of other notes because it involves this barring, right? You have to bar with the finger here, and you have to, play one note on one string and two on the others. And you can do the same thing on the two middle strings. So if you could do it on the G string, play the same exercise just to get it into your fingers. If you do the B and the G string, you don't have to do any barring because you can use the fourth finger for the 15th fret B string, and you can use the third finger for the 14th fret. Because those notes are not placed in the same fret. Right? Right? So the sequence then, once you have these exercises down, right, you can start going. And the way you do that is simply to play down the pentatonic scale in this shape. But each time you get to, that's just the first three notes, right? You return to the first again. So you go, and then you go down the string. Just understand the nature of the sequence, because then you can remember it without remembering each and every freaking note in it. You can just, okay, I'll go down 3 notes, and then return to the note I started on, and go down 4 notes. All right, so, or I just continue down the scale. The next time you hit a new string, so, right, and then back to the first note, and then just all the way down until you hit a new string. That's the G string. Then you do the same thing. You continue to the string before it. So you go. Right? So let me just play that slowly for you. The first 2 instances of the sequence. Right. In my head, what I do is I just play down the scale, and each time I'm coming to a new string, right? Oh, that was a new string. That was the B string. I'm starting on the E string. Oh, B string. Then I have to turn back to the first note I played. And I just play down the scale. So, oh, new string, G string. Then I return to the previous string, start from the top there, and go down the scale. So, just go down. Oh, new string, D string. And you can use the pull-offs when that's an option. So you can use the first, you can do a pull-off. And the same thing goes for the next string. Right? But then you have to use a pick stroke. And you can see the whole thing in the tabs. And it's very important that you follow the picking pattern. And if you're using alternate picking, you can just drop the whole thing with the up, and the thing in the tabs, and just, when I'm picking there, you can just replace that with alternate picking. Right? then you get this mixture of pull-offs and sweep picking, which really makes it quite a pleasant... and you get that cool accent and and of course, Joe plays this a lot faster than I do. So I have some practice to do. But this is such a cool little idea. And please don't see it as, oh, this is a lick, this is a run. It's not. It's teaching your fingers to move in a special way. Once you've taught them to move in a special way, you start like saying... you start practicing. So, okay, I learned the other sequence as well in the previous video, right? That was like... Right? So let's combine the two. Let's go randomly, right? Let's go... I'm just coming up with this on... So we got this first. Right, so I could go... Right, so I just go... Ba-da-do-dee-da-dee-oh. And then I can return to the first note again. And the first note, and then play the 6-note sequence, right? So... And then it ends with a phrasing thing. And you don't have to think about the timing, and it has to have 16 notes, and you have to be able to divide it with triplets or quadruplets. Don't think about any of that. Just randomly put it together. And so create a little example for us. And play around with it all the time. So these are the steps, right? You do the same thing as last time. Use the metronome to practice the sequences in 3 different stages. First with the metronome, getting the timing right. Go to the level, or practice it to the level where you can play it relaxed at a low level of speed, but you can play it accurately without having to stress yourself. And then you take it to the TV, sit down, or you might not watch the TV, but if you do, you can practice for 3 hours while being entertained as your body is doing a repetitive, easy pattern thousands of times, right? So after a month of doing the same run over and over and over again, thousands and hundreds of thousands of times actually, each and every night, you actually achieve the speed you want. And then once you have both sequences down, you start combining them. You start endlessly, starting to create little licks for yourself that you then loop and do the same thing with, right? So you take what you know, combine them in as many ways as you can, and that's the way to get to his kind of relaxed, fast playing style. When he does his runs, that's the way to achieve that. It's not to play licks, but to play sequences, and then combine the sequences over and over and over again until you get that, you can, because what you're doing there is actually practicing doing what he does slowly. Combining 2 different elements, in different ways, slowly, and then practicing everything up to the level. Everything, both things you have at the level of mastery, right? But then you combine them in different combinations, and then gradually you become so good at that you can do it in real time, that you can actually... you can actually improvise these runs in real time. That's the process. So please follow it and get the result. Anyone can. It's not about talent. It's not about being special. It's just about working your nervous system in the most effective way and doing it enough so that it becomes automatic, relaxed, and just, that relaxed, free playing style we all want.